Last week, Ismail Haniyeh, the top Hamas official in Gaza, declared that Hamas would accept a peace deal with Israel if it was approved by a referendum among the Palestinian people. Observers say this is further than any senior Hamas official has gone before in accepting international efforts to get a peace deal between the Palestinians and Israel. More details in this report from Washington.
Hamas has long been critical of the peace talks. The Islamist organization has always said that such basic issues as the right of the refugees to return to their land should not be negotiated or voted on by Palestinians worn down by decades of occupation. But on Wednesday, Ismail Haniyeh, the head of the Hamas government in Gaza, told reporters that his organization would accept any peace agreement approved by a referendum of the Palestinian people. U.S. analysts say that while it is not clear Haniyeh speaks for all of Hamas, his statement is welcome.
I think anytime you have a leader like this of Hamas making statements that he's willing to respect a democratic acceptance of the state of Israel, this is significant.
So does this mean that Hamas, which the United States and other countries have designated as a terrorist organization, is now ready to join the peace process? Analysts say that does not appear to be the group's goal.
I think Hamas is preparing for a much longer sort of strategy. They clearly have no stake in a military confrontation with the Israelis, and they don't anticipate any sort of successful peace process. So in response to this, it costs them very little to create a much more positive public image.
Haniyeh made his comments on the first day of the Jewish holiday of Hanukkah, the Festival of Lights. It's not clear whether that was an intentional gesture, but analysts say Haniyeh isn't necessarily committing himself to much in the near future.
We're so far away from either a resumption of serious negotiations progress, let alone an agreement, let alone a referendum, that I'm not sure this statement has much significance.
Since the end of Israel's brutal invasion of Gaza nearly 2 years ago, Hamas has stopped firing rockets into Israel. The international sponsors of the peace talks want Hamas to go further and recognize Israel before the group will be invited into the peace process. But at the same time, observers here say Israel's commitment to the negotiations appears increasingly in doubt.
Continuing to build in these settlements is not only extremely provocative and destructive of the environment for negotiations, it's also an effort by the Israelis to cut off Jerusalem from the larger Palestinian city and Palestinian people, and to make it eventually impossible for the Palestinians to claim East Jerusalem as the capital of their state.
The comments by Ismail Haniyeh go further than any previous Hamas statement in accepting the peace process. But here in Washington, reactions were muted. Analysts say that with no real peace plan for Hamas to sign on to, and with Israel pushing ahead with new settlement construction, prospects for an agreement look increasingly dim. Burton Bolnag, KSA2, Washington.